On this episode, we're going hunting for wapiti, or elk as they're also known. In New Zealand, there's only one herd of these and they reside in the Fiordland National Park, and to hunt them in the bugle, you have to win a ballot. The ballot is run by the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation, who are a hunter-led organisation that work alongside the Department of Conservation. The idea of this partnership is to try and manage the numbers of these animals while also providing hunters with the opportunity to go after this unique species in New Zealand. We originally made this video in two parts, but we've decided to put it all together in one epic vid. As you'll see in this episode, Fiordland is one of the most beautiful places you could ever hope to hunt. The block we were hunting was the Lower Glazenok block, which has a lot of history. We had this block for 10 days and we were sharing it with another party. The weather was looking primo, so we were keen to get stuck in. After a heap of travelling with planes, shuttles and water taxis, we'd finally arrived at our destination and it was breathtaking. All we had to do was unpack our stuff and then catch up with the other group that had already been dropped off before getting on with the hunt.
Hey guys, I'm Sam, and along with my brothers Noah and Harry and the old man Pete, we're the Clarkes, a family of boys that live for the outdoors. Whether it's working on the farm or doing our beekeeping, we're always busy outside, and if we aren't working, we're doing our other adventures like hunting or fishing or diving. So subscribe to our channel and follow us for our adventures as we explore the best of New Zealand.
It's pretty awesome to be here.
Yeah.
Quite steep, eh?
Just got to get our bearings on which valley's which and take some stuff to the hut, and then we can hook into some hunting. Some bloody other blokes in our block. What's going on here? How's the hut look? Nice trip on the lake, wasn't it?
Yeah, beautiful.
Ooh, any bugles yet?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Right. Hut, a few bunks, fireplace, nice hut to not spend any time in.
Because we were sharing the block with another party, we decided that we'd split the block down the middle and have 5 days hunting one side, then swap over and have another 5 days on the other side. This meant both parties would get to hunt the entirety of the block. With that out of the way, it was time to hunt, and we were heading up to the Nits Valley side first. The river was absolutely teeming with trout, but we had one thing on our mind, and that was bugling bulls, so we were heading off after that first, and the trout would have to wait.
Only been going up the river for about an hour or so. We're just walking up the track, and there's a couple of bugles just across the river here as we go up, so we're going to cut across the river here, take our boots off and hunt our way up this side of the river towards where we're going to go, so we might as well check them out. Pretty excited.
Hopefully get our first close up.
Yeah.
It's deeper than it looks, I reckon about waist. Pretty good for a first effort.
It's good, but a bit deeper at the end. Like gruntier.
They don't really do that, the wapiti though.
Got some replies.
It was promising to see so much fresh sign around, and the bull had been bugling pretty consistently. Unfortunately, by the time we got over to his spot and started bugling, the wind was swirling around a lot, and we think he must have winded us. After waiting for a while and not hearing any more bugles, we figured we might as well keep moving and head up to some fresh areas and hope to have some better luck.
Well, we've made it to the confluence of the Nits Creek and the main river. So it took us, well, we left at, I think we left about 9, and then we heard a stag roaring at about 10. So we crossed across the river and headed up the other side, which wasn't too bad going, but it wasn't ideal. So we made it. It's lunchtime now. We'll have a backcountry and a drink, and then try and navigate up through the nits to a spot where we can have a glass.
Pretty excited about getting up there.
Heaps of bugling, like a lot.
That's
but
nice.
all on the other side.
Nice bush too, eh?
So hopefully there's a lot going on up there.
Deer sign in there too.
Never seen so much deer sign in my life, but didn't bump any animals, maybe one.
They probably heard us coming from a while away.
The wind was a bit swirly too. I think it's coming down this valley.
After a quick break and a snack, it was time to get going again, so we loaded the Tatonkas back on our backs and started making our way up the Nits Creek, which unfortunately didn't go as good as we were hoping.
Alright, we're heading up the creek. Read some info. We thought we need to try to get up around the bluffs, and we got right up.
Not the bluffs. Gorge.
So we headed up quite high, heading around it. Not too bad on the GPS, but
can't get down.
So had to go back. Heading back down, it's pretty much the same way we came.
Lost about 3 hours. Boys are a bit dejected. Just to find out we could have just walked up the creek. That's going to piss us off.
I'd be happy though.
Yeah.
And whoever at that info you read in.
Must have read it wrong.
Read it wrong. Right, you read it wrong. It went the wrong way.
Oh well. It's all part of the Fiordland adventure, eh, Minnie? That's what we live for.
I don't know.
Trials and tribulations.
Everyone said it was going to be easy.
Everyone said it was going to be hard, and we knew it would be hard, but we were hoping it wouldn't be.
Going real good, like, going real good, yeah.
Just had a mare.
It turned out the information that I'd read was accurate. We just missed the turnoff, which is quite easy to miss. But thankfully, after backtracking, we found the right way down.
Managed to get into the river, so lost quite a bit of time. Might not get an evening hunt in tonight, but we'll go set up camp up here and probably be in a good spot for the morning anyway.
Well, character building. Really character building, eh, Harry?
Yeah, my morale's just shot up.
Have some tucker and keep moving.
I was thinking we were going to have to go.
We were almost considering camping down the bottom.
Embarrassing.
Wow, we finally made it to the bottom of the creek. We're so happy about ourselves, and just went to leave, and Minnie went to find his binos, and he realised he left them about 400 metres above us in the creek where we got a drink. So we sort of want to kill him right now, but killing him's not going to help anyone. We'll just make a plan and sort it out, because they're like $1,000 binos. You ain't going to leave them. Well, 15 minutes later, got back to where they said binos are dropped, and we're exactly where he said. So, you know, bloody annoying, but at least it was only the last place we stopped, and it was only 15 minutes up and 10 minutes back down. So, oh well, we all make mistakes. He hasn't done as much hunting as us, and he hasn't felt this pain before of having to do this. I would have sent him himself, but he hasn't done as much hunting as us, and to send him up by himself with the GPS is, yeah, just a bit too dodgy. So anyway, all's well that ends well. It's only going to cost me half an hour, and it's amazing how much easier it is without a bloody pack on your back. Piece of cake. Sweet as. Let's catch up to these boys.
By the time I got back down, chucked a Tatonka on my back and caught up to the boys, it was getting on in the day. So when we finally did catch up, we decided to set up camp and call it a night. I was absolutely knackered by the time I sat down at camp, and the backcountry was just what I needed to get the energy levels back up.
Starving. Boys are starving.
Do that one and you'll be able to chicken curry. We made it to our first camp. Bit of a mission, but we got to where we wanted to get to anyway. We could have maybe snuck a night hunt in, an evening hunt in if we didn't have our mare. But anyway, we'll get a feed and recover and get into it tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow our luck goes a bit better.
Got up nice and early this morning, packed up camp, It's about 7 now, so we're going to head up to the clearings. They're about a K, just over a K or something up here. Try to get there just on first light. So hopefully there's some roaring up there and stuff. Should we just go in? Yep, just now on the right side.
It was about an hour's walk up the river in the dark to get to the Nits clearing, and as we started approaching it, we could hear multiple bulls bugling, and we were getting bloody excited.
Looks nice everywhere up here. Should we drop our bags here? Get your gun ready, eh? Should we get down to there so we can at least see it?
We hadn't gone far around the clearing when we stumbled into the first bull. By the time we'd seen him, he'd already noticed something moving in the bushes, but couldn't tell that we were people. It got the adrenaline pumping to see the first animal here, and as he was creeping in, we were trying to age him and see how big he was, and also hoping that we wouldn't spook him and disturb the rest of the valley. Although we didn't get a lot of time to inspect him, our initial thoughts were that he wasn't a shooter, and thankfully he stalked up above us into the bush without spooking.
Can you still see it? He's gone. Well, that stag came right into us, and we've seen it. It's about a real nice 8-pointer, but probably a bit young. So really cool to see. It's our first deer for the trip.
We were slowly working our way around the clearing towards a bugle that we could hear on the other side when we bumped this young bull. It was crazy how much action was going on at the moment. We could see that this bull wasn't what we were after, but the one bugling across from us sounded good. While I was filming this bull, Harry was busy looking over the other side of the clearing, trying to spot the other bull that was bugling. And just as it was sneaking off into the bush, he managed to spot a bit of antler.
The big one. How far is it? Yeah.
By the time I got the camera over there, he was long gone into the bushes, but his cows were still out, so we were hoping he would pop back out.
Come into the bush though. What does it look like? It was big as the antlers were huge. I'll try to get in the camera. I have to stalk it in the bush. Is it gone? I walked in the bush with its cow. I'll try to get the camera just in case it pops back out.
Unfortunately, the bull never came back out onto the clearing, so we were forced to change plan and decided to follow him into the bush, where he was still bugling consistently.
Right, I'm just going to stalk ahead of the boys because it's got a few cows with it, so we don't want to spook it. The bush is quite noisy too, so I'll go ahead by myself.
Yeah? We're up here. Noah's further along.
It's really exciting.
Yeah. And we just heard a shot. I don't think he would have shot unless it was the one. So we've been praying to the good Lord that he's found it. We're coming. It's a 13-pointer.
Yeah, I thought it was 13. Hey.
Oh,
Crashing.
holy crud, look at her.
Quite a good one.
Quite a good one.
Happy with it. So.
That is a horse. That is an absolute horse.
We've got it something.
Look at those, they're right down, eh?
We were all a little bit shell-shocked, to be honest. We didn't expect to be getting ourselves a good bull like this on only the second day of our trip. But you certainly weren't going to hear us complaining, and we were rapt with such a magnificent animal.
Well, here's my stag. Just got up to him and everyone's had a look. He's pretty awesome. Absolutely a bit of a corker, really. 13 pointer. Got a beautiful head, so pretty wrapped.
Strong tines everywhere. Good length, good tines. Still one bugling up behind us. Go check him out later, but congratulations, Harry, you got yourself your first Wapiti.
Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah, bloody cool. Lucky, just about got away from us. It's seen us, but if it hadn't stopped for that little split second.
It'd be nice to get something out in the open where we can watch it for a bit.
Yeah, good work. Alright, let's do some butchering.
As we took some photos and butchered the animal, we were still trying to come to terms with what had just happened. Experiences like this don't happen every day, so it was pretty cool to just let it soak in and enjoy it. The only downside of this situation was that Harry now had to carry a big rack of antlers for the rest of the trip.
It's massive.
Quite heavy.
It's so long.
We spent the middle part of the day enjoying a long lunch while glassing the surrounding tops. Knowing the history and significance of the Nits clearing, and being in here in the peak of the bugle, experiencing firsthand what it's like to hear the bull's bugle bouncing and echoing off the steep walls of bush either side, was like nothing else I've ever experienced, and it was such a privilege to be a part of. We managed to pick up a few animals way off in the distance. We could see 2 bulls up here, and this one looked like he might possibly be worth investigating further. Luckily for him, he was well out of striking range for today, and there were a number of bulls bugling around the edge of the clearing that had our immediate attention. So we watched them for a while and soaked in what is a day that we'll never forget.
Well, after that bit of action this morning, pretty cool to see those stags out in the open and stuff, and set up camp here, and we're gonna hunt up in the head of it, the valley today. We can see one up here, but we don't think it's worth shooting, so we'll leave him and we'll head up the valley, and fingers crossed there's one hiding up there somewhere. Keep going.
While we were waiting for something to happen down on the end of the clearing, we spotted a 3rd bull up high with the other 2 that we had spotted earlier. It was hard to say exactly how good he was at this distance, but by the size of the animal, he definitely sparked some enthusiasm to make a push for the tops over the next few days.
Hopefully my throat's alright, I haven't done one for a day.
Didn't have to roar this morning, they were roaring for themselves. Oh, good echo.
It's roaring.
Yeah, just get him going.
This bull was starting to get a little bit worked up and was answering pretty much every time, so we decided that we'd leave Harry and Jared back, and Noah and I would stalk in to see if we could get a better look at him. He was giving more of a red roar in reply, so we weren't expecting to see much of a wapiti type animal. Either way, it was going to be a good challenge to try and get in close and see exactly what it was that was calling out to us. As soon as we entered the bush, we could see that it wasn't going to be that easy to stalk in on this bull. With this fern, every step we took was making a big racket. But as we sidled our way around, we could hear something down towards the clearing, so changed angle and headed towards that.
Right, 20 metres away, just behind the tree from you. Just behind, yes.
Meow. Meow.
He's young. Don't shoot him, he's young. This is quite a nice young one.
This was a really nice looking bull with about 11 points and a drop back tine on one side that was quite unusual. But it looked like a young animal to us, so we just watched him before letting him walk off.
It's still there. Don't move. Just a little one. Yeah, about 4-year-old, Yeah. Let's see if we can hopefully find us. That was awesome. We got real close to that one, but just a young one, so it's cool to see him. You hadn't seen him, eh? No. I just seen him out the corner of my eye, like 20 metres away, just staring at us. It's seen us, They give you a bit more time, eh? They don't just take off, eh? They look at you for ages. That one's right about past now, so... At least we've seen this one, so we know it's small. Yeah, nice wapiti, looking animal. Yeah, looked real grey, eh? Had the, like, good tines, it just needed a couple of years. A few years, probably. Oh well, good close encounter. That one's up our arse, so I think we'll give up on this one.
Just as we had turned to start making our way back to camp, we heard another animal bugling only 150 metres away from us, so we thought we'd better go and check that one out too.
Meow.
It's really dumb.
Meow.
See it? Yeah.
Meow. Meow.
It was awesome to get another close encounter, but again, this was definitely not a shooter, so we let him go.
I think that's the one we spoke just before. No, that's all. It was blind to yelling and that thing. Yeah. It just heard us and just easy if it was a big one. Shoot it.
Back to camp.
At least we've seen the stags.
2 stags, yeah.
Small, so
They're both bugling real good, so we thought that might have been good ones.
that one had way more red raw though.
When we made it back to the boys at camp, we had a bit of a debrief about what we'd seen, what they'd seen, and made a plan for the next day before settling in for the night.
Dinner time, I think. Wash,
Supper.
have a wash and some supper.
Bit of action, eh?
Good night.
I could hear something more up there when we're up there.
Yeah, there's definitely more up
You
further.
could hear heaps in the distance, eh? One, like, it's like you're coming from around that side of the hill. I almost reckon it's behind that hill.
It's us tomorrow. It's pretty steep, but hopefully there's something just around that corner. Well, here's our camp. Got the 2 tents. This is the new one we've been running, the MS Hubba Hubba. Definitely been a few jokes about that one.
Hubba hubba.
A few, yeah, you can imagine. 4 blokes and a hubba hubba. There's gonna be some humour come out. There's the deer, looking good. And then you come over here, and there's the pantry, laden. We've got a very messy system, but just chuck a whole lot of backcountries in there, under the Hunteck fly. You enjoying yourself, boys?
It's quite warm for this time of year, isn't it?
It is supposed to get cold tonight though.
Yeah, tomorrow it's going to be southerly, yeah.
Oh well.
Oh, it's 20 to 7 now, and we're just about to leave our camp down in the creek here. We'll go up ahead, and there's been a few bugling up there, quite far away, but I'm not sure how good the going is, so we'll get going just before light and see what we can find. There's one barking right behind us. Hopefully it's one of the ones we've already seen. I think we saw most of the stags that were roaring in here already. Get up there and chance our hand.
After the success from the day before, we had high spirits as we left camp, but as we moved our way off the clearing and up the valley, we noticed the wind was blowing up behind us a bit. We hoped that as we got further up and around the first corner, things might be a little bit better, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. We did manage to spot one young bull, but it was definitely not a shooter. And with the wind doing what it was, we decided to change plans, head back to camp, and make a break up for the tops.
Oh, we've just got back from our hunt up the valley there, up the head. No good, and now it's cleared up quite nice, so we're going to make a bit of a break towards the tops. We don't think we'll get there tonight, but hopefully get 2/3 of the way up. It looks like it's a bit of a terracey thing. Could be a hell of a terrible night's sleep tonight. Dehydrated and everything, but
we even get to the going to take as much water as we can.
hope
Lowered,
for the best.
lowered our packs weight a bit.
Only got a couple of days left on the side, so we really want to hunt that area while the weather's good. Gonna
Send
go
it.
real hard today, tomorrow, and the next day.
Well, the weather's good too. Into it.
We were a little bit reluctant to leave the clearing. It was a beautiful spot and we still hadn't checked out a lot of areas that could have held bulls. But what we'd organised with the other group meant we only had a couple more days to hunt this side of the valley. The tops were calling and we knew there was at least one decent bull up there, so we packed our tatonkas and headed off.
Okay, we've left the flats. There's a stag roaring up here. And this is the way we want to go up to the tops anyway, so shoot two birds with one stone. Go check him out, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, we just got to the stags about 50 metres away. Harry's and Noah are going to go ahead and see if they can get it. Might give a roar. Wind's a bit sort of.
This bull was fully worked up and answering us every time, but he wasn't coming in towards us, so we were going to have to put a stalk on him. Harry and Minnie stayed back, while Noah and I snuck in with the gun and the camera to try and get in closer. We find it works best in these situations if we have someone left behind roaring and the other people do a bit of an arc and come back around on top of the animal. Because the bull is focused on where the roaring's coming from, he doesn't move off and he doesn't see us coming from up above him. After a nerve-wracking half-hour stalk, we found ourselves in a position where we could see him. Noah could see the bull, but he couldn't tell how old or how big it was. It's bloody hard to age animals at the best of times, but when you're in the bush like this, it's even harder. We just couldn't see enough of the animal, so we had to wait and hope that he moved and we could get a better look at him. He had seen us, but he wasn't quite sure what we were. Either that or he just wasn't scared. It was near on impossible to evaluate him, but we could see that he had pretty good antlers. We were caught in a good old-fashioned stalemate. He'd seen us and we'd seen him, but we didn't know if he was good enough to shoot. Noah had a feeling that he was not quite big enough, so I ended up stalking him with the camera.
It's so hard in the bush to tell, but I'm not going to shoot it because I just totally try and sneak in. I'm going to try and go a bit closer, but it can see us now, so we'll probably run off. It definitely doesn't look really. It's got everything. Oh, it might be missing bays too.
My camera battery ran flat, but I had my phone with me, so I snuck into about 20 metres to try and get a better look. Once I was up to this range, it was obvious that he was a really nice animal. His antlers had beautiful shape, tines, and reasonable length, but we couldn't tell how old he was.
Fuck, it's a ripper.
It was a really cool feeling being this close to such a cool animal. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to second guess yourself, and you're thinking maybe you could be watching the trophy of a lifetime walk away. But there was enough doubt in our mind that he might not be big enough or old enough, so we let him walk.
He's a 6-year-old, I reckon. Yeah, he hasn't got the length, but he's a beauty. The top's on him. Pretty intelligent. Yeah, good as. Oh, that was a beauty. We got in, we couldn't tell. I watched it for ages, it was real dumb. And then the camera went flat, so I couldn't get any video. And we couldn't age it for so long, and we thought, what are we going to do here? And then it sort of started barking. So we just made these noises.
It's gone.
And then Noah saw its face and wasn't sure. And I went in. Oh, we watched it for quite a while. And we were like, probably it looked quite nice. But Noah just wasn't confident. And then I snuck in with the phone after we decided we weren't going to shoot it. Just walked straight up to it, 10 metres away, talking.
He was talking to me, yeah.
And then I was videoing because I hadn't really seen it. And it turned its head, and I seen these big throwbacks and like 3 tops, and I was like,
that well? I could see its body.
It had brows, trays, and 3 tops.
Have a look at the video.
Yeah, it was only a 5-point on each side.
Yeah, it was a 10, that's what I first said.
If it had bays.
Can I have a look at the video?
After we'd finished reliving the experience, we made a push up to the tops. It was reasonably open, and apart from the rifle getting tangled, we made good time. It wasn't until we broke up onto the tops that we got ourselves into a bit of a mischief.
Well, we've broken out to the tops. It's a good feeling, but we've still got probably another 500-600 metres to get to the top tonight, maybe, if we can't find a camp on the way up. It's such an amazing evening though. It's just blue skies, a little bit of like foggy stuff on the tops, and not a breath of wind. Amazing.
It was a spectacular evening, and it looked like it was going to be easy going for the last little stretch, but looks can be deceiving in Fiordland. You can see in this video Harry's a little bit pale and rather sweaty. As we were climbing up the first bit up onto the tops, we got ourselves into a bit of a pickle. We underestimated just how steep it was and found ourselves in a position where all we had to hold on to was tussocks and we couldn't turn around and go back, but thankfully we managed to get up there. We were pretty exhausted after our near-death experience, so we didn't take long to hit the hay.
We'd heard from the previous party in here that the water was not that easy to find up in the top, so we made sure we carried up as much water as we could. It was probably about 10 litres or more. We found this campsite here, and there's actually a bit of water here, but it's not flowing, so we're just boiling the absolute shit out of it and saving the water we carried up. Probably got up the top and find like massive big pool of water, but can't guarantee on that, so just playing it safe, and hopefully we don't all get sick, but boiling it, so it should be all good. And it's about 6:30 now. We're just gonna have breakfast and pack up. Heard one sounds like it's just over here on top of this little ridge here, and it's a real nice day, no clouds, starry night, so it should be, hopefully there's no fog rolls in, and it should be a good day hopefully.
To be greeted with a pretty much perfect day on the tops with blue skies and no wind in Fiordland is priceless, and the fact that we knew there were bulls not too far away was great inspiration to make the last push to the top of the ridge.
We just got to the top, right to the top ridge, and looked over to the other side, and pretty quickly we heard a bugle, and then we spotted him. Looked like an alright animal, and we need to have a bit better of a look before we can really tell. He's just walked out of view, so we're going to have to try and cut around and see if we can see him again, get the spotter on him, because we only got the camera on him. It's quite cleary. We'll go have a look anyway. He's about 400 metres. Down in here. Sam, you can see the window. Might be quite a mature one. That's the same one. It's a good one to get a video of, but not sure. There's like not a spiker, but a real little stag down here, and then there's looks like about an 8-pointer. He's not very long, not very old, I don't think, but he's quite a nice one, so we'll get a video of him. Yeah, just get a good look at him. There's another one right down there later. Yeah, let's go and get some nice footage of him.
in, so they don't even know we're here.
He was another stunner of an animal, but too young for us to be shooting, so it was time to head over and see if we could find this big bull that we'd seen a few days earlier. When we made it round to the big bull's territory, we were greeted with a few kia, but that was about it. There was no bugling and no bulls to be seen. We hung around for a while, enjoying the scenery and the wildlife, before having lunch and then packing back up to the top to try and look into where we'd heard a bull over the other side and make a camp for the evening. To get weather like this up on the tops in the middle of the bugle in Fiordland is a pretty good feeling. And with the weather set to deteriorate later in the week, we were hoping to make the most of it and pushed over to have lunch where we could look into where this other bull was bugling.
Well, we couldn't find those first lot of bulls that we saw the other day, so I've come back over to Newton's now, and we're just having lunch. You can hear two really nice sounding bugles down here, so they must be quite pure wapitis. Gonna have quick lunch because we're starving. Have a backcountry. We've got breakfast for lunch. Yogurt and muesli, but they'll go down pretty good in a smoothie, and then drop down. We can see a place for a camp about another 150 metres down, and from there we should be able to see these bulls. So it could make for quite an exciting evening if everything goes good. The only thing that's going to maybe stuff it up for us is that if we leave it too late and the wind starts falling down, that could stuff it up. So we'll smash our food as fast as we can. Had a good lunch, mate?
I didn't even know I was hungry, but the second that food touched my lips, I was just like, felt like a wild animal, right?
Have you had your smoothie yet?
I'm saving it for last, you know.
A little treat at the end.
It's good though.
Not a bad backdrop, eh?
So cool.
After a long time sitting and glassing the tops trying to locate the bull, we finally spotted him. He was a long way off, but after looking through the spotting scope, he looked like a good, mature bull, and we were keen to go after him. We had a lot of ground to cover and not a lot of daytime left, so after a quick discussion, we decided we were going to have to go for it. So we quickly made our way down to the bottom of the valley and got ready for a stalk.
It's 20 to 5. We've seen a big stag, so we're just dumping a pack. The boys, Noah and Minnie, are going to stay here and set up camp. Me and Harry are going to just go, try and get them tonight, and then walk back in the dark. We'll take the GPS, and hopefully we can get there. If we can't get there, we'll just bail out and try again tomorrow.
It's just up over this hill here, so it's probably about 800k away probably still, but there's only a couple of hours of light, so we're going to send it up there and we're going to set up camp.
Right, we're just heading up now. Me and Sam just left the boys. We're heading up towards the stag. It's pretty steep going. We're over where he is, so getting over to him anyway, so we're just going to head over there now. Hopefully we can make it, otherwise we'll bail out and have a go in the morning, see what happens.
The wind was blowing in the complete wrong direction as we made our way up to the bull, but we didn't have enough time to come around from a different angle, so we pushed on and hoped for the best.
We've just been busting ass so hard, and I think I can still hear him roaring up here. We've got another 100 metres vertical to go, pretty much, and then we can take a shot. So we're just videoing because we needed a break anyway.
We just finished setting up camp, me and Jared. There's a couple of stags running just down the valley here. The boys, Harry and Sam, went after that big 9-pointer, I think it was a 9 or a 10. Seen they got up there about half an hour ago to in his sort of area where he was last seen, so hopefully it's going well for them. Be real good to get a nice stag like that, and it's about day 4 now, so yeah, we'll see how we get on. Minnie's having a shower. There's a big lake up behind us. Quite a cool spot actually. Might be quite cold though because the wind's coming down. So hopefully the boys are shooting a big boy about now.
As we crested the ridge, the bull was spooked, and I had to make a quick decision and decide whether to shoot him or not. Because we'd all had a look at him from a long way off and thought he was a mature bull, I decided to take the shot.
Dropped him that time. He dropped it. He dropped it. That was stressful.
It was stressful.
That wasn't a very good video.
So you couldn't even get him in.
I would have caught it on, but as soon as I went to zoom in, it went all blurry.
That was a mean shot, eh? He was like 300 metres away.
Yeah.
Just
got the camera on him in time too.
Oh, far out. Running off, eh? Like he's seen us.
I reckon they winded us.
Did you get it in the camera
Feel
at the
that
start?
wind?
Did you see it?
Nah, I didn't get it at the start when I was looking
I just
at
see
it.
its head and its antlers sticking
We
out.
ran.
And then Harry stayed back and I sprinted up. And
We zoom in on it.
because it was only 160 metres away, it only got to like 300 by the time I got to here and
Yeah.
sacked him.
Yeah. I knew you were just going to shoot too, and it stopped.
It's just that gave me the beautiful broadside
Yeah.
shot.
It's with you in here, eh?
Such good when you pulled off a shot. It was only 300 metres, but
Yeah.
wasn't it a great rest? You got him. You got the gist of the hunt anyway.
Yeah, it was
Well, you-
sending it up that
Harry's
hill.
like was pale as when we did that video.
Oh, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, eh?
At least he rolled towards us, Harry.
Yeah.
And we'll
Maybe he's not broken.
Man, he really tumbled though.
It's hard to see them, eh? When you...
So he went down that.
It was just by the left of that little cliffy bit, eh?
Yeah.
Go,
These are these boulders.
turn the camera off in case it's rolling back through there. Just there, is it? Man, he's huge. Huge body.
It's like his feet.
Yeah, massive. Oh, it's here.
He's a beast, alright.
Holy.
Oh, nice antlers
Man,
too.
thick antlers, eh?
It's hard to say how long.
Not
they
that
are.
long,
Didn't
but
really
man, they're
take-
thick.
Big neck.
Mm.
He's massive.
Man, that's big, yeah.
Compared to a red.
It's massive, it's a neck on it, eh?
Massive, big neck. Big antlers. Oh, look.
Face.
Broken off one of his tops.
Oh,
Looks like it's broken
that's
off
when it
quite
fell,
damage.
eh?
Missing, what is he? 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. Don't know if you count that. 6,
Hang a ring on it.
10. 10 pointer.
Ooh.
Happy.
Character looking head, I guess.
Yeah, he's probably not a.
Quite red, eh?
When we looked at this bull from a distance, everything told us he was a good, mature bull. But now, as we were looking over him on the ground, we were starting to doubt that maybe he wasn't as old as we first thought. We're certainly not experts in aging bulls, but there are a couple of things that just made us think maybe he wasn't as old as we thought. The doubt we had about whether he was old enough or not really took the edge off our excitement from a successful hunt. The goal of the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation, and all hunters that go in there, is to only shoot mature bulls. This is the best way that we can try and help the longevity of the Wapiti herd in Fiordland. Although he was an impressive animal, the doubt about whether he was old enough definitely spoiled the experience a bit. At the end of the day, I'd made a decision, and whether it was the right one or the wrong one, I wasn't going to let it ruin the trip. But it definitely was a good lesson to learn, that even though you've evaluated them from far away, it's always worth the second check up close. And if I could have my time again, I would have let him walk off, rather than having this situation where I wasn't sure if I'd made the right call or not.
It's a bit of a send, eh?
Harry,
Coming up
we
that
gotta
hill.
Get down to the bottom of this valley tomorrow.
Yeah, because the other guys are their turn to hunt this side.
What an evening now. Get back to camp.
Had
We're
some-
camping in the most beautiful little lake down here.
Yeah, it's cool as.
It's been like a dream day, a very hard day, but a day you'll look back and be like, that was the dreamiest day.
Still one going down there.
It's 2.
Yeah, it's
After
still
a
that
quick
big.
photo and a butchery session, it was time to head back down to camp before it got dark. As we navigated our way down the steep terrain, we managed to locate the other bull that was bugling. He was quite an impressive animal, with large tines and a wide spread, and he seemed to have a bit of age on him. But we weren't going to shoot him, so we just watched him and then made our way back down to camp.
way to set up camp. Just down there. Bit of a hike up to get Tom. There's another one over there we've seen on the face up there.
It had been a massive day and we were knackered by the time we got back to camp. We had a bit of a chat about what had gone down before having a wash, a backcountry, and hitting the hay. The next day dawned another cracker, but we were pretty tired, so we just hung around camp and watched this bull as he made his way around the face. It was quite nice to just sit back and relax and watch this bull do his thing. We ended up watching him for a good hour or so before packing up camp and making our way back down the valley to the hut.
We've loaded up the gear, cleaned up the campsite, and now we're heading down the valley. Got the stag strapped onto the packet actually. The Tatonka's got just enough straps to not have to use any string, which is quite good. Pretty wide though, it's going to catch on a lot of trees, so hopefully we can stick mostly to the creek bed.
It was a long, slow walk back to the hut, but the going was pretty easy and we made reasonably good time.
Made it back to the hut. That was about a 5-hour chug down the valley. It was pretty easy though. I'm looking forward to the whole trip. Oh, she's a bit high.
Oh, wait.
Roofless.
You just wasted it.
Split half of it. Is it nice?
It was good to be back in the hut with a few luxuries, a warm fire, and as much food as we could eat. Having a proper wash and some fresh clothes was great refreshment before the rest of the trip. There wasn't a lot of action over the next few days, apart from trying our hand at a bit of fishing and failing every time. The only other mission that we had to do was to go up and retrieve Harry's head that we'd stashed up in the bush. It was going to be about an 8 to 10 hour return trip, and the last thing we really felt like, especially seeing as we weren't really going to be hunting. But it's not that often you get to enjoy being in such a beautiful place. So we took our time and enjoyed the sights along the way. We took the rod with us just in case we could catch a fish, but again we failed.
Well, this has been a huge day. Up from the hut to Nits, up to about, I don't know, half a cable over, clearing up there and then all the way back down. Stopped for hours fishing, unproductive, unfruitful, but we just about made it back, so all's well that ends well. Wish we didn't have to do that, but there's no way we would have got up to the tops the other day if we had to try and carry all this crap in that stag's head as well. So I suppose it was worth it. Alright, bro? Yeah. It's a bit of another trip. Man, this has been a marathon. Young stag. Young stag crawling around in the bushes. Oh my gosh.
Sitting down like a sack of studs.
Top heavy and a bit fatigued.
We literally must be like 100 meters from the hut now.
Just let me think.
We did eventually make it back to the hut, and that was pretty much the end of the trip. We were hoping to get back out and do a bit more exploring, but the weather just didn't really play ball. We gave fishing one last crack, but again came up empty. For whatever reason, the trout just weren't interested in what we were throwing out there. At the end of the day, it was just cool to be in this beautiful place and soak in its majesty. We had an amazing time, saw some spectacular country, and managed to secure a couple of bulls. After showing some videos of my bull to some experts, we believe it wasn't a fully mature bull. We're pretty gutted about this, but it's a lesson learned, and hopefully anyone watching this episode that's going into Fiordland can also learn from our mistakes. It's easy to get it wrong when you're inexperienced at hunting these animals like we were, but if we all make these same mistakes, it's gonna cost the Wapiti herd. So that's why we wanted to talk about it in this video. Make sure you're 100% sure of the animal's age before you pull the trigger. Use the Fiordland Wapiti Foundation app to help you, and if there's any doubt, just watch them and film them. Every time you hunt, you learn something new, and this place was amazing, and we'll remember it for the rest of our lives. Thanks so much for coming along for the ride with us and watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank all of our sponsors that help us out. We're extremely grateful for their support and back their gear all the way. So if you're looking to upgrade your gear, make sure you buy one of these brands. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.